So going into the pedal, I don't feel any noticeable delay between the moment I press it and when the car starts to roll.
30.
Hello everyone, welcome to DM Car Reviews. Today we have a 2021 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring on our channel. This is the turbo model. I'd like to thank Misha of Sheehy Nissan of Manassas in Virginia for providing me this car. I will leave all the information and links down below in the description, so please reach out to him if you're looking for a car. Today we're going to check out the car's exterior, interior, go for a POV test drive, head down to Mexico to check out the performance figures with Draggy, and I will share my impressions about the car. I've not driven this new body style yet, so this is going to be my first time driving it. I've only driven the older version of it. This is a Rogue RAV4 competitor, and I do like the fact that Mazda offers the 2.5 turbo engine in these cars. Let's open her up and check out the hazard lights. As you can see, this version has the HID headlights. Our side indicators on the mirrors. So jumping in the back. Being 6'2", I still have tons of room for my legs and headroom. We have our seat heaters positioned right here. We have USBs to charge. This is really neat. Never seen that kind of implementation before in a car. We have our vents. Let's check out the trunk. So we have a pretty large trunk. Let's look under the hood. So we do not have the hood with the hydraulics. We have to actually manually put this in here to make the hood stand, which I think is really much less convenient for this kind of price. Alrighty, so starting out in this 2021 Mazda CX-5, let's fire her up. So right away, I can point out that This is a very vertical feeling car. Like, you're sitting and it's very vertical. That is my first thought that came to mind when I got in here. The materials here are soft touch, quilted. This is soft, all of this is soft. It is a little bit to the stiffer side than soft, but it's still soft to touch. We have lacquer plastic here. I'm not a fan of lacquer plastic in cars in general, because anytime you touch lacquer plastic, it gets dirty right away. And that's annoying to clean. We have our heated seats, our dual climate control. We have ventilated seats too for a driver and passenger. We have the heated steering wheel. The screen is clear and crisp. We have the dials and only 5 different options: navigation, communication, and entertainment and information. Vehicle status monitor, so it gives you all the details. I like that Mazda included the dials. They're easy and convenient to use, and this is a pure thing from Audi. Audi has it right here, but it's the same exact concept. We do have our suite of safety systems, lane keeping aid, pre-collision braking. We have 2 USBs, a cigarette lighter outlet. The materials here are also soft everywhere. Here is as well, actually. I like the quilting that Mazda put. Okay, so the steering wheel is hot here and cold here and very cold here, but it is warmer in this area. So this is actually the first car where I see the steering wheel does not heat evenly around the circumference. It's still cold up top, but very hot here. Interesting. Let's turn it off. It's done. So talking about the seat comfort, these seats are stiffer and more firm than seats that you will find in the Rogue per se. The RAV4 is fairly comparable, but these seats are still to the stiffer side. We have a heads-up display, which is a great feature for this class. Active driving display. Let's see, I want to lower it a bit to my taste. There we go. That's perfect. Okay, good. This is an easy to use infotainment system. I'm able to get to all my settings right away. We have auto hold. When you're in traffic, you can just press it and it will hold the brake for you. An electronic brake. We have different driving modes. We have normal and sport. We have adaptive cruise control, automatic front windows, not rear windows, a sunroof, an auto dimming mirror with home link, check the glove box. Okay, do a wiper test and a horn test. That is a loud horn. This is probably the loudest horn that I've heard in a car. We have Bose audio system. Let's adjust our mirrors and head on our way. So starting to head out, the first thing that comes to mind is how tall and high the seating position is in the CX-5. It feels like I'm sitting honestly in like more of a pickup truck. That's how high it feels and vertical. We have a floor mounted gas pedal like BMW, and if you know from my previous videos, I'm a big fan of floor mounted gas pedals. They are by far the most comfortable out of any other kind of pedal. Oops. So this specific car comes with the turbo engine. The 2.5T is their torquey offering. The base 2.5 isn't bad, but it can lack power when you have passengers, and it's not as good for highway passing. Still generous power though. Here we have this little turbo whistle, which sounds cool. I like when you can hear the spool a bit. As far as the handling, it's sharp and precise and super direct, so it is more aggressive and sporty than a Rogue or a RAV4. The brakes feel smooth and strong, so I need to apply just a little bit of pressure and the car starts to slow down confidently. My only gripe with this CX-5 is the engine noise. I can hear a lot of it, and I'm not even pressing the gas. I can imagine when I'm pressing more. Oh yeah. There is very noticeable engine noise in the cabin. The gauges are also kind of unusual. So I have the gas scale right there, and it says miles in the full tank, and then it has 7. And I'm super confused. 7 the range that I have, because the needle shows that I still have some gas in there. Not much, but some. But just to be sure, let's get a little bit of gas because we don't want to get stuck. All right, so back to the drive. I put in some gas, still says refill tank. And the 7 is not changing, so looks like that is not the range indicator. 2 more things that really caught my eye is there's no push on the gas cap. You gotta actually press a button if you want to fuel up. You can't just push on the gas cover and it will open. No, you got to use that. And when you lock the car, the handle does not have a sensor when you put in your hand. Like, you got to press a button. That's another thing to consider. Visibility here is fairly good, so I'm not seeing any major issues seeing the blind zones. The pillars aren't too thick, they are fairly narrow, so easy to see. Super curious how this car calculates range. When you put in a couple of gallons in there, why does it still say 9 miles on the range? That is super weird. So out of the smaller compacts, the handling in this CX-5 will definitely take first place because it is super precise and on point. Oh, there's a lot of torque. This is a super punchy engine. It feels like a diesel to me, honestly. It does not feel like a gasoline engine, because all the torque is at a 2-3,000 and you're pressing. You don't have to spin it out at all. So just by staying at the low RPMs, you're already getting access to the full acceleration potential. Even though I put 68 Fahrenheit on the climate control panel, the air is still blowing super hot. So let's go down to 65. Maybe that will help a little bit. So going here at highway speed, the car glides smoothly. At the same time, it does feel like it hugs the road well. It does not feel overly soft or overly stiff. It's a perfect balance, but this car is definitely inclined to the more athletic side. So out of all the mid-size, small crossovers in this price segment, this is by far the sportiest and most fun to drive one, by far. I love the turning ratio. It's so precise and good. So let's check out the sport mode. See how that changes things up. So going into the pedal, I don't feel any noticeable delay between the moment I press it and when the car starts to roll. For example, with like Audis and VWs, the moment you press that pedal hard, there's a half a second to a second delay, and then the car starts to roll, and then the boost kicks in. This car feels very impressive. you don't feel speed on this crossover. I'm not, unless I'm looking at the heads-up display. If I didn't look at the speedometer, I'd be thinking I'm going maybe 40, 45. But it's athletic and it's great driving dynamics on the highway. There is a little bit of wind noise and tire noise coming from the road, so it is a louder car than per se a Q5 or an X3, but it's quieter in my opinion than a RAV4 Rogue. Even when going almost full throttle, the engine still stays in the lower RPMs, and the transmission does not want to go past 4.5 RPM. That's its sweet spot. Well, let's take it for a quiet drive now. Go to Mexico, check out the acceleration, and I will share my thoughts with you. What I felt after the test drive and what I liked and disliked. Enjoy.